What's up guys? So today I'm going to show you how to make some of the easiest, most delicious chocolate chip cookies. Very few ingredients, really simple to do. Let's get on with it. So first thing we're going to do is add into a bowl, you've got some gluten-free flour. So this is the gluten-free plain flour from Dove's Farm, which is this one here. We're going to do about half a teaspoon of salt. If you don't have salt in your diet, you can leave this out. Because we're using really nice dark chocolate chips, the salt actually brings the chocolate flavour through even more and has a much nicer texture and flavour at the end. So I really recommend just a little bit of salt. And then baking powder. So that's obviously our raising agent. Just want a nice heaped teaspoon of baking powder. That's our dry mixture. We've got our chocolate as well. So the chocolate can just go straight in. The chocolate I'm using, my friend Jamie of JK Fine Chocolates, he hand makes this himself. He's been out to the countries like Madagascar. He's met the people who actually grow the cocoa beans, works directly with them. So it's all fair trade, really nice quality chocolate, and it's so fruity, so delicious. I really, really recommend, if you are going to use dark chocolate, use a really good quality one, because you can taste the difference between something that's cheap and full of all sorts of fillers, or something that's great quality like this, which is purely just cocoa and unrefined sugar. That's it. Now, what we're going to need to do next is melt some coconut oil. Because we're also going to need to add our sugar and water to this mixture, I'm going to add those in now. So in here, I've got about 30 grams of water. That can just go in with the coconut oil. And then we've got our sugar. So I've gone for coconut sugar. If you can't get hold of coconut sugar or don't like the flavour, just use something like Demerara or soft brown sugar. They'll all work, but I love the flavour that coconut sugar gives. So it all goes into your pan. And you can just give it a little stir. So once that's all melted together and evaporated, you should have your sugar mixed in with your coconut oil and water. All you're going to do is pour it in with your dry mixture and just give it all a good stir. Now the chocolate chips will melt slightly. I like it because it gives it almost kind of a marbled effect. If you don't want it to melt, then allow your wet mixture to cool and then mix it together. Before the start of the video, I turned my oven to 160 degrees, so it's preheated. So oven behind me is getting nice and warm. Now I just grab my baking tray. So on my baking tray, I've got a reusable non-stick sheet. These are really good to get hold of. Saves using baking paper all the time. But if you can't get hold of it, baking paper is absolutely fine. So final bit to do, take a little bit of your batter, roll it into a ball, and just pat it down. Depending on the size you roll them will depend on how many cookies you actually make. So once you've patted down all your cookies, just get a fork and just a light press in each one just to mark it. Now these will go into your oven, so preheated, 160 degrees, for 10 minutes. So once your cookies are done, remove them from the oven and leave them on the side to cool for 5 minutes. It's really important when you take them out from the oven, don't touch them to begin with. You need to let them cool as they are. If you try and pick them up too early, they'll crumble and fall apart. After 5 minutes, transfer them onto your wire rack and let them cool for a further 10 to 15 minutes. So the longer you leave your cookies, the harder they will get, and eventually you should have a really nice crack. They've only been resting for about 10 minutes now, but rip apart really nicely. They're soft, they're gooey, they've got a good bite to them, absolutely delicious. Obviously, the hotter your coconut oil, the more that your chocolate will melt into the cookie itself. So as I said, if you don't want it to run, and you'll have a much more separate, lighter coloured cookie with chocolate chips, or you can just add in extra chocolate chips like I did. So enjoy.